Welcome to Digimon.
Hello and welcome to Digimon and welcome to another deck profile we're doing on Wednesday again this week. We'll be back to our normal upload schedule next week, but with a little change as there'll be no deck profile next week, but we will instead be doing a 3 kind of part mini-series next week for our non-meta Jank Tank tourney that we did at the end of 2023. But we're here at Deck Profile. As you'll notice, I'm here at the side today. And that's because we actually had a deck request from Manuel Molina back on our MetalGarurumon deck profile in the comments there. Thank you again for your request, Manuel. Really appreciate the support there. And what he wanted to see was Melga. Now, I don't own Melga. So when I spoke to the guys, one man jumped up to the challenge of a Melga deck profile, and that is Alex. Alex, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Alex. I've introduced myself. No, I'm Alex. I've been playing Digimon since its debut, and I've very gratefully met Josh and the guys, 2 years ago now?
Less than that.
No, less than years. It's just over a year or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we're all playing Digimon and we're putting it up on YouTube.
Yeah. All good fun. But as we go over this kind of deck profile here, we're going to talk about what you're currently playing in Melga, as well as the changes that are going to be made in a couple of weeks' time for your EX5.
Yep.
Because that is obviously the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And then behind that elephant in the room is an even bigger elephant in the room with a baseball bat ready to hit that first elephant over the head, which is the ban list. So we'll talk about the March ban list as well, and kind of what things are gonna change going forward for Melga with both EX5's release and also the ban list upcoming. Obviously, we've got BT14 between now and then as well. So a lot of changes for Melga. It's had no changes for a long time, and now it's just getting all the changes. So
it gets like 3-4 different renditions in the space of 3 months, pretty much.
Yeah, no, exactly. We'll get into the profile. Alex, take us away.
Brilliant. Here I am taking you away. First up, the eggs, as we've established, these are all going to change very soon, but it is your 4 Bukamon. The Melga deck is the one that takes the most advantage of this right now by being able to build your stack so quickly with the assistance of your X antibodies. Being able to have a bigger stack than any of your opponents means that you're going to be swinging with jamming. One of the things that Garurumon wants to do is rush, but every time it runs into something secure that's bigger than it, it's going to die and you lose your stack. And that's why they did try to increase their DP where possible. This, you don't have to worry about that. So you just go over an egg, comes out the next turn, you're pretty much swinging with the protection that Garurumon really needed a lot sooner.
And what would you say, so come March when this is put to 1, what would you say is the next best pick?
So at March we should have BT14 by then. I think we are instantly going straight to the Sunamon that drops with the deck. One, because if you wanted to, you can still run the starter deck, the newest starter deck, Gobumon, to evolve over it. So you can still run some purple, which is another comment we'll make another time. But it also, it's just the key. Essentially, you are going to have to lose an egg, which is allowing you to successfully swing with protection to go into something that's going to provide you with either more draw or more DP. But the egg does change, but I will be switching to Sunamon so that I get a bit more variety with my Gobumon baseline.
Very cool.
Going straight into the level 3s, this is going to be pretty standard for the most part, but straight away you will be running your 4 Gobumon X antibody. You literally have to run this. It's either going to be the additional search you need to get your Garurumon pieces, or even if you do have to go level 3 and raising Gobumon X over your raising, it's just a fast draw that the deck needs to get to see your pieces really quickly. The next level 3, a little bit different from most, but I'm running 3 of the Gobumon BT5. This is the standard play and pass that you'll be making, which is going to be adding a Garurumon card and an Omnimon card. The Omnimon part you will seldom see, but this deck does run the Blitz Omnimon top. So it did provide you an opportunity to search for that. Very soon, this is going to be dropping to most likely 2 copies, because the new BT15 Gobumon to by your turn 2 provide you more draw from there, rather than look at your stack, potentially bottom things. It's just going to be more efficient. And overall, you do just want to build your inheritables up rather than make an on-play. So from there, because I'm only running 3 to kind of give myself some more inheritables off that point, we run 4 of the ST8 even. All turns, if you've got 8 more cards in hand, you go up by 1,000, just all turns. If by any chance you, I don't know, lose a Pokemon somewhere, this is going to provide you that additional DP to survive those swings into security, provided you are a bigger, usually you wear Garurumon.
And as it's all turns as well, that could be quite good defensively too, right?
Exactly that, yeah. So if you happen to surprise your opponent with a, say you've got a suspended Garurumon and you've had to pass turn because you just did not have game, if your opponent swings into you and you go into a MetalGarurumon, MetalGarurumon Ace, if by any chance you are battling, you're giving yourself the extra 1,000 DP that your opponent probably wasn't calculating. The final level 3 I'm running is just a single copy of EX1 Goblimon. I really like this one. I used to use a lot. However, I'm a little bit iffy with the search power. As mentioned before, you're looking for only specific cards with these searches. This one is to add reveal 3, add a Tamer or a card with Goblimon in name, but then you do bottom the rest. And in the deck like this, you can bottom deck a lot of cards where you really just want to draw trash, which is what the deck will primarily be doing very soon. But for one at the moment, I would like to see Cool Boys. I would like to see the one Davis or Matt that you'll be going to very soon. So I'm trying out 1 copy for now. But as we stated, in about a month's time, this whole thing's going to be changing.
Yeah,
anyway.
so obviously we're going to get some updates to the rookie line. Obviously we don't have that card to hand right now, it's not out yet, but I'll flash it up on screen. The EX5 Gabumon X, it's kind of nutty, right? It's just
yeah,
does everything that the other
EX5 Gabumon is a problem card, a very good card for Garurumon. Garurumon disappeared last year, came back with a vengeance, and immediately saw play in decks it shouldn't be. So unfortunately, we're going to be getting it at 4 copies for a handful of weeks, and then dropping it to 1 copy. I believe it's the Goblimon X and the Garurumon X are going to 1 copy each. So you might see a profile of full power. Enjoy that for a couple of weeks, and then we'll show you exactly what to drop and what to play instead. Moving on to our level 4s, we are running the standard 4 Garurumon X. It itself does not have an ability, but the inheritable is an all turns kind of protection. If this would be deleted in battle, trash 2 same levels beneath it to survive that combat. If this was the key way that Garurumon used to be able to swing as a Garurumon, survive to anything you combat in security, to then unsuspend and swing again. But if you didn't see your Garurumon X for protection, it was very difficult to succeed and get that successful rush in, which is why Garurumon used to kind of have like a 50-50 survival rate, if you will. What I am running for my inheritables and for memory gain as well is 3 copies of the BT5. When this is Digivolves, if you have a Goblimon in your cards beneath it, gain a memory. And what you really want to do is to be able to afford to go up to your Garurumons and start swinging early is to make sure you're controlling your memory a little bit better. So having a 1-cost Digivolution is going to be very helpful to get into your Garurumon a little quicker. The inheritable is quite nice as well, which is if you have Garurumon or Omnimon in name, all turns you gain 1,000. So before that stacks nicely with the ST8 Goblimon. So you're coming through with an extra 2k, which makes your level 5s at least 10k, which is a nice number to be sitting.
Definitely
on.
helps you with clearing stuff if you don't have like the jamming or
exactly
security, and in terms of potentially beating over other guys if they've been left suspended for that kind of control.
That's exactly it. The only reason I'm not running it at 4 is because we are running a total of 10 level 4s. To be able to run the 4 Garurumon X, we're splitting down other options at 3 each. The other one being the promo Garurumon with no effects, but the inheritable of when attacking, if you have Garurumon in name, draw 1 card. This is great because it's not once per turn. So when you're getting your swing, unsuspend, you're helping generate your hand, keeping that momentum going, and just keeping your hand full of options. Which, especially if you're able to successfully swing past and wear a Garurumon, you've likely then gone and drawn into the MetalGarurumon Ace for a little bit of a surprise in your opponent's turn. Again, very soon, this lineup is going to be changing. We think we're likely going to be dropping the BT5s for the new BT14. It really does depend. It's a shame that we're going to be losing the purple options coming very soon, because I'm a big fan of the new Garurumon we got with the security effect.
I was going to say, because it's interesting, because so far, nothing from ST16. Am I right in saying that? Or?
You're absolutely right. I actually spitballed this for the last week, and I was running the new Garurumon with the when Digimon effect to draw and trash. So that basically on a Digivolve, you're adding 2 cards to your hand and just getting rid of something you don't need. With the other inheritable being a replica of this, but once per turn, of when you're swinging, draw 1 card and trash 1, I believe that one is. I'm a big fan of it. However, because, and you'll see in just a moment, your level 5s are still primarily blue with the X antibody. You don't want to leave yourself on that purple and be stuck. The key thing we really want to be doing is to keep your consistency high. So you don't want to have to rely on, oh, the only way my purple Garurumon can evolve into something is if I get Garurumon X on top of it. Because in the instance that you have bad luck, your hand breaks a little bit, your draw's just not quite there, you don't want to have that purple Garurumon go, I guess I'll swing with it, or I'll pass, and you don't want to be in that situation. Very soon, you can pass on it to play the Garurumon Ace in BT14 if you wanted. So I think if you do like the idea of purple, you can throw that in there so you're not left wide open. But for today, for some consistency, I'm running as much blue as possible, which is a real shame. But the key reason being the level 5s here. Honestly, the best card in the deck is going to be Garurumon X Antibody. When Digivolving, unsuspend it. Then if you've got Garurumon or the X Antibody card in its sources, return when opponent's level 4 or lower back to its hand. The level 4 or lower bounce is just very helpful. Very, very helpful. So if you are swinging, because your effects are getting priority, they've got a blocker, pop that back in the hand. Blockers are getting quite high in level now. But this thing stumps my own armor deck quite a lot because they're level 4 blockers. But overall, the reason you play this is because you will be tying it in with the combo of where Garurumon will swing. You will then use its own effect to unsuspend. You will then swing once more with the X Antibody option card, allowing you to Digivolve into this mid-swing to then unsuspend again. And then you're getting 3 swings in before you go, can I do another one? Or am I passing or Digivolving up with before I pass turn? Best card in the deck. It's the only reason the deck is so strong. Obviously, a year ago, we thought this card might be the one that goes to 1. It might be what kills the deck. As it stands today, we have that at full power. It does see competition with the new Garurumon X Antibody we get in EX5. But from what I'm seeing trending in the winning decks in Japan at the moment, is this is still the one to play because this is your primary. 1, it's free to Digivolve Garurumon, where the new one costs you 1. And 2, it just does exactly what you need to do better. It was just unsuspend and get rid of something that's in your way.
So that is interesting, isn't it? Because it's going to be very much up to personal kind of taste, isn't it? I mean, for me, obviously, I'm the opposite to Alex being a map player. And I'm very much more known for being the Greymon guy. Obviously, for most kind of people playing the red version, you're going to be playing the BT9 variant for that as well. So to the Greymon X, the Metal Greymon X. And then if you want personal preference, play BT11.
Yeah.
To be interesting to see what people do going forward. Because, I mean, I know the Garurumon has, and the new one from EX5 has an inheritable as well. Is that right?
It does, and now that you've mentioned that, I don't have it to hand. It's
flash it up on screen.
It's interesting. It's in no way a bad card. It's a very good card, and I believe its other effect allows you to recover pieces from your trash, because the whole EX5 thing is we draw trash, but the idea of your trashing cards that you will just be getting back in a moment once you get to your Garurumon evolve for free into for 1 to Garurumon X. Draw trash, but you're just getting back the thing. Oh, you thought I was done with this? No, it's back in my hand. I think those who are steering just clear to the blue are doing so because you've got so many multiples in this deck that it's okay to trash 1 card, should you be doing that early with your lower purple bases, and keeping the 1 copy in your hand, because this deck should really be rushing where possible. If this deck's going into like a turn 5 situation, it's not done its job in time. This is a very fast deck. And if it does get defensive, that's going to be from your level 6s anyway. I have seen a lot of people run 1 of the Garurumon X Antibody, BT9, and 3 or 4 copies of the EX5. Some only run 1 copy of the EX5 because they think I'll only need to recover things once, and then just go into this one for free. I think overall the big difference is going to be that 1 cost evolution, because sometimes you just don't have it. The memory tamers are very expensive, and I don't think this deck has that power to just be able to willy-nilly drop a memory tamer. So you need to be very careful with your memory on this one. I mean, hence exactly why I'm running the BT5 Garurumon, because I'm being very conscious of my memory. I don't want to then go, oh, I've saved one, but I'm going to spend one just to go into a web
Yeah,
one.
that makes sense.
But again, it's personal preference, and we'll probably see very different things getting some very good wins. The main one, this probably speaks for itself, Garurumon Promo 008. This card went to 1. This is why the deck fell off, but it was also why it was so strong. When attacking, if Garurumon is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, unsuspend this. Now, it is Garurumon specifically. So if you've happened to miss any of your regular Garurumons and you've happened to go Gobumon into Garurumon X up into your Garurumon, you unfortunately do whiff on that one. Very, very rare that happens, but it's worth mentioning that it doesn't always play out that way. But because it's so common to be able to go, yep, I've got the whole line in here. When you swing, you just unsuspend. It's once per turn, because this card needs to be somewhat healthy. But this is exactly where you were getting your additional swings from initially. The inheritable is where Garurumon X came so strong, because the inheritable, if you've got 8 or more cards in your hand, this will gain security +1. So your combo was always, whatever your stack is, swing, unsuspend. You usually survive either by the new Bukamon, or by having such high DP, or if by any chance you happen to die to battle in security, you've then got your Garurumon X to go like, cool, I'll get rid of the Garurumon and Garurumon X or beneath it to survive that combat. By then unsuspending, you can declare yourself a second swing. Your X antibody option will then say, oh, you've got a attacking effect to go into an X antibody for its cost. You then go into your Garurumon X for free, unsuspend, get rid of removal, you check your security, you're checking 1 additional security, and then you're swinging for another 2 checks. That is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checks.
It's kind of grim, isn't it?
1 stack. I mean, that's why they hit it. But you do only get the 1 copy now, so we are running 3 copies of the new Garurumon from ST16. Now, this one is worth mentioning. This does have an errata. When these decks were first distributed, the inheritable is a replica of the main effect. That's not how it works. The inheritable, I believe, is a when attacking, trash a card to delete a level 3.
That's correct, yeah. The reason I know that is because, granted, not for something that has, some semblance of meta relevancy like this, I wanted to abuse that in Titamon.
Yeah,
and I don't get to anymore because it was printed wrong.
It's a good effect still. It's not that good. But in Garurumon, you swing nearly all the time with your Garurumons and Garurumon X's. So the main effect being, when attacking once per turn, trash a card in your hand to unsuspend this. It does mean this is technically got flexibility. You can run it in anything purple. But trashing a card is fine. Because they've got so much more draw power in this deck now, and more coming with EX5. The great thing about it, even though it's purple, it does have the inherent Digivolve conditions of any level 4 with Garurumon in name for a cost of 3. So you can go your Garurumon X antibody into this one. I was hoping to run a bit more purple, even if it does conflict with the new training boosts we have. But
it's just hard to justify it, isn't it?
Yeah,
with the ban list
I'm
coming
afraid
and
so.
like that.
I'm afraid so. But this essentially means that we're running 4 copies again of a Garurumon that allows us to get that second swing in. And I'm very happy to have it. It is worth mentioning that a lot of builds at the moment have not been running these exact totals. There's been a case for dropping the X antibody to 3 and running the promo Sagittarius mode, because it essentially is another X antibody. The Sagittarius mode allows you to evolve on any Garurumon for 0, which again, Bukamon, you want to have a bigger stack. It means you're giving yourself access to go just 1 more bigger. Very helpful in a mirror match as well. The other effect of it being, I believe you can bounce 2 level 3s that your opponent has with its effect as well. And it does also have the inheritable effect that Garurumon X shares of protection in battle. So it is worth saying that this isn't the standard level 5 lineup you could be running. You could be opting out of maybe the unsuspending ones to, if you consistently see any of these 3, you could run another 2 Sagittarius instead. Some people have been opting for the BT7, which is quite interesting. It's not one for me personally. The BT7 having an on-play effect of when you play it, if you have a Tamer, gain 2 back. So overall, the cost of playing it only costs you 5 instead of 7. But the other effect of it, if you do have a Tamer in play, if you do not have a Tamer in play, you can play one for free, which if you do opt for an expensive Tamer, such as a Davis or a Matt later, that can be quite nice. It's not for me. I mean, this one, we do want to play a bit more of the more common build we've seen, which is we just want to swing, unsuspend, swing and unsuspend. It's a fast deck, and that's what I want to be showing you today. So that is 4 copies of a Garurumon with 4 copies of a Garurumon X antibody. Now, moving on to your level 6s, this is where everyone chops and changes theirs a lot. I'm running 3 of the MetalGarurumon Ace. I'm running 3 purely because we are running the blue training boost in this. I'm aware of if I was running any less, I'm likely to hit a training boost and potentially bottom one of these that I want to see. So I'm keeping it at 3 cards in hand, just so I can either draw into it naturally through Digivolution, whether I can fetch it to hand with the BT5, or whether it's a case of I whiff and I have to trash one, maybe have to bottom deck one, I've then got another one available. But this one, aces need very little explanation. They're a huge boost to the game right now. This one being that when your opponent swings at you, you can Digivolve from any card with Garurumon in name for a cost of 0 if opponent's swinging, or in your turn it only costs you 3 on any Garurumon, which is helpful. So you can have a Garurumon X antibody, and in your turn you can still Digivolve if you wanted to, or once you've passed turn, you can Digivolve into it in your opponent's turn. Now, Garurumon Ace I've been looking at for quite a few decks, and I don't know if it's something you've considered in your Titanmon, Josh?
Possibly. I mean, I still need to get the ST16 stuff. I think generically as a purple card, it does a great job. It does give you that extra kind of memory gain and everything there. I feel like its place is kind of at home, but there's definitely a world where you could just use this in other purple decks.
Absolutely
go for it.
Unfortunately, all of its effects are relatively generic, and they do purple things, which is when Digivolving, you can trash up to 3 cards in your hand. You gain 1 for every card you trash. So during an opponent's turn, if they're swinging, you could potentially end their turn. Just because you've trashed 3 cards you don't need, past 3 memory. If they've got a memory tamer, you're at least putting them to 0, so their next play is going to be their last one. And the other one being that when attacking, you can trash one in your hand again to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. If you are starting to see a lot of decks that are just building stacks, or they only have about 2 on board, you can then tie this into when attacking, trash the lowest, but ahead of time with the correct effect of the Garurumon ST16. If there's a level 3 that's going to be getting in the way of your set effect, you can decide to prioritize the inheritable to trash a card to pop a level 3, and then go trash another card to pop the lowest, which is being your opponent's last card. It's a nice little bit of removal in this deck, but the key reason I play it is going to be for the surprise, you've lost 3 memory, oh, it's my turn, and for something like that. Quite often we used to have a situation of a level 5 and pass, but now we have got, oh no, I'm an 11k, actually I'm a, wait for it, a 12k when you combat me. Oh, sorry, let's try that one again. I'm actually a 13k. Depending on your inheritables, you can either survive a combat, your opponent's swinging at your level 5 thinking, I don't want you to swing again. It's just nice. I just really like the interaction. It's the kind of back and forth thing that I'm enjoying seeing in Digimon now.
It's a very well designed ace card. There's definitely some ace cards which are more at the bottom of the barrel than others. And this one is kind of very much, it just does kind of what you need.
Yes.
Both defensively and offensively, and it just does a great job.
I have seen some people run this at 2 copies. A lot of people just running the 2 because it's not the core top end you want to be seeing. It's a case of, I'll see it, keep it in hand for when I do need it. I want to run it at 3 purely for the sake of, I don't want to end up bottoming it, as I've explained. What I am doing, again, slightly different, but this did see a recent top, I believe it's in Las Vegas, is the first MetalGarurumon, is the ST2 MetalGarurumon. Reason that this one's making a bit of a resurgence is because we're running the training boost now to make our Digivolutions cost less, and because they overall cost less to play, it's easier to get a couple ready. It can be a nice surprise to go, oh, yeah, I've saved my memory on the BT5 to get my swings in with the Garurumon stack. If you happen to have a blue training ready to go, actually, how about we Digivolve to a level 6 for free before doing all this? And you can do a when attacking unsuspend. So it's just a nice situation to be in. It can be helpful. I'm only running the one copy because you should be able to do things with your level 5s anyway, and I'd rather the 6s were a little bit more defensive.
I suppose the other thing with having this at 1 as well is, unlike, say, the BT15 one, which could just digivolve on top of any level 5 Garuru, this would be able to digivolve on top of the purple.
That's exactly it, yes. So if you do happen to have gone into Garurumon and you did not see your X's, or if you haven't gone over with Sagittarius mode, if you're playing that build, this unfortunately is a sitting duck. It contradicts the consistency I was going for, but I was really excited to play this one again. But that is exactly what it's a one of. If you're not a fan of it, drop it. If you don't like this one and you don't want to play 3 copies of the Ace, you've got so many MetalGarurumons as options to play. But the big one I'm a big fan of, and I'm running 3 copies of it, is the MetalGarurumon X Antibody. So this one, like all level 6s, level 6 X antibodies, it does cost you 1 to digivolve on a same name. So that can be your purple MetalGarurumon Ace as well, because you don't actually count the Ace when looking for a Digimon's name. But your when digivolve effect to unsuspend this Digimon and it gains blocker does mean that if you're having to pass after your swings, you do give yourself that opportunity to be a little bit more defensive. Digivolve, pass, you've now got a 12, 13, maybe 14k blocker on your opponent's turn. And that's it's pretty tasty. I'm a big fan of that one.
As a big beefy boy.
Is a big beefy boy. The other effect being as well is when this Digimon does become unsuspended during your turn, if the MetalGarurumon or an X antibody option is in this sources, return all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to their owner's dex. So if you do have an opponent who's got a lot of protection from combat and destruction, the MetalGarurumon X antibodies are a nice removal to that.
Also quite good against the wide board. I mean, straight away when you said that, I was thinking, oh god, D-Brigade.
Yeah, literally.
D-Brigade just removed the whole board.
D-Brigade / Digipolice is running with a lot of level 3s on their board. I've been looking for a deck that plays with some wide board removal for a while now, and the MetalGarurumon X is still one of my favourite ways to handle that situation. Even if you're taking out 2 or 3 level 3s back to their hand, you're still slowing them down and slowing down the number of those swings they'll be doing. Because while you are an ace blocker, you are only blocking 1 card. And it's nice to go, I'm trimming down my opponent's numbers to swing with and another 1 by being a blocker. Plus, the unsuspend effect of your turn does trigger during your unsuspend phase. Because it's your turn, now it's my turn, you unsuspend for the beginning of your turn, you then remove their lowest level. So if your opponent is going to make a big stack thinking they've got you past turn, if you've happened to have blocked you unsuspend, you just get rid of the lowest level again. So it's a nice removal. This is another one some people just run it too. We do have the very cool MetalGarurumon X antibody in EX5 coming up, and a lot of people running different numbers. I'm seeing a lot of 2 of the BT9 X antibody and 1 or 2 of the newest EX5 coming soon. So be sure to tune in for that profile there. But for the time being, I think 3 works. Again, I want to see these cards, so I'm running with more numbers than I think more people are used to. But the other being that you are trashing so much with the newer cards in this, I would like to be able to think, I've got a spare in hand, or I'm about to see another one. To top it all off is our 2 level 7s. Doesn't need much explaining. Blitz Omnimon from BT5 and the Omnimon X Antibody from BT10. Blitz Omnimon is your Blitz for game. When digivolving, you Blitz, and when digivolving, you unsuspend. Blitz being if memory has passed your opponent, it's about to be your opponent's turn, you get a swing. So we've done all that. We've just digivolved into this. Digivolve, swing, game. It needs no explanation.
It's kind of like the great eraser, isn't it? It's just like immediately you say Blitz Omni and they're like, all right, game 2.
Exactly that. If somehow you do get to use the alternate effect of if an opponent's Digimon to delete this or return to hand, kudos to you. You've played Omnimon very differently to me. But this is very much like when you show it to your opponent's game. What I do like is the interaction with BT10, which brings that Blitz for games in a little sooner. Now, it does cost you more to digivolve an Omnimon X antibody over an Omnimon. Some of you might be thinking, oh, how do you Blitz for game and Omnimon X? Now, to show you one ahead of time, we are running 3 of the X antibody option. The when attacking is not once per turn. So if you do happen to be able to go into an Omnimon Blitz for game with your opponent at 0 security, you can trim that down a little earlier with the Omnimon X's own when digivolving effect, because you are now digivolving when you're attacking as a Blitz Omni, by placing X antibody or a level 6 card from this Digimon's Digivolution sources at the bottom of its opponent's decks. Reveal all your opponent's security cards. Trash one of them. Place the rest at the bottom. So your opponent has one left, as you've declared. You then Digivolve into this with the effect. Get rid of the last card, and you blitz for game. So you can do it a whole card earlier.
That's sick. I mean, I'll tell you what, I'm learning stuff too, because I did not realise, because I'm so used to not unsuspending with Greymon and stuff like that X antibody isn't once per turn.
No, I was the exact same.
That's great.
Yeah, it's literally, I had to double take on it, going, how often are people doing this combo? Read it, and I'm like, I think I want to play 2 Blitz Omnis, because if I happen to fetch this, I want to be able to get the other component. But yeah, there was me thinking this combo doesn't work because it's a when attacking effect, because you've already attacked Digivolved, you missed the timing. It's a when Digivolving as well. So that's nutty. It's very fun, very, very fun. You don't even, it's got a second when Digivolving effect. You don't even need to worry about it. Return all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of its owner's deck in any order. So it's a fantastic removal that in this combo you're not even using. But should they have a blocker,
in a really rare situation, it could still come up though, couldn't it?
That's so good. It's still so good. It's still 16k. If you get into a really tight match and you go, I actually just need a removal, there isn't anything stopping you from going MetalGarurumon X into the Omnimon X antibody. It is a costly Digivolution of 7, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes you do need that. It does have the benefit soon in EX5. There is a new X antibody prototype, I believe it's called. Protoform.
Yeah.
Which says that I think when you would, when attacking, you could Digivolve into a Digimon with X antibody in name by reducing its cost by 1. Now, normally in a tribal deck, when you go Workromon to Workromon X, you're not reducing by 1 because you're 0 anyway. But it does mean that you can do things like, I'll swing my level 5 into a Leopardmon X. Or in this deck, you can go, I'm going to swing with my MetalGarurumon or Workromon, if you like, into a MetalGarurumon X for 1 less, where normally before. You can do the same by going, actually, we'll swing with this into Omnimon X for 6. It's still 6. But it's nice that we're getting some more X antibody interactions and options, literally, to be able to play with. Plus, X antibody security is one of the best things in the game.
Oh yeah, so many cheeky. Oh yeah, add this to hand, gain a memory.
And that's precisely why I want to play 3 copies. A lot of decks are just running this at 2, and I completely understand that, because you should only need the 1 copy. But if one of those copies is in security, you're then digging your deck for 1. It does happen, and I said I want to see consistency. I want to be able to see it, and if you do go into those tough games, it's nice to have another backup in hand as well. So we are running 3 X antibodies in our 3 X antibodies alongside 1, 2, 3, 4 mental trainings. Now you'll have noticed that there were purple cards in this deck. I can't help that too much. It's the way it goes. Greymon is in a very similar situation, I believe.
Yeah, I feel for you.
Yeah, they've got quite a few mono colours that you just really want to play, but if that's your second card you see, you will be bottom decking it. But you're going to be bottom decking one of your cards anyway. It's okay. Just don't reveal 2 purples when you're looking for a blue.
Yeah, just make it so that does not happen ever. Just you know, shuffle your deck in a particular way so that the purples don't don't come up.
Your deck. Mental training, again, it's the newest staple, if you will, to the Digimon game at the moment. Is there 1 of every colour. You reveal 2 from the top of your deck and add any blue card among them in this case. Where previously the enemy boost, you were only able to look for a Digimon. It's nice to be able to, in other decks as well, look for an option card, look for a Tamer, if you will. Very soon we'll be opting for the BT14 mat. So even mental training finding you a 3-cost mat, it's still searching you into a searcher. So it's a huge card. And the delay effect, it's just great to trash it from your board to force yourself into a Digivolution into a blue colour Digimon for 2 less. And that's why I feel like I can go into MetalGarurumon X off of Workromon, because you're doing it for a 2 instead of a 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really want to be able to play into the MetalGarurumon for 2 instead of 4, depending on the situation. This might get cut by the next deck list, guys, just to bear in mind. But it's a staple. Some people are running at 3 and 2 boosts. I want to run 4 copies so that I can guarantee I see one, because that 1 copy is all you need to get yourself started to wrap up the game.
I mean, the training cards just in general just have revolutionised the game. They're so good.
Absolutely.
You know, there is now we're starting to get these more generic cards. I think I mentioned it in the last deck profile I did, or one of them. it's going to be interesting to see how ban lists going forward with these more generic cards, because like you're thinking how easily that can do things. Also, the torch has just come on.
I don't know how I did that.
I think it's just the lighting. It's fine. Yeah, don't worry. We're professional at DU Digimon. But no, the training cards I think are just they've revolutionised things, and it's interesting to see how generic things will become if we get to a level of like Pot of Greed kind of level stuff, if you will.
Exactly.
But like, you know.
The last 4 cards in this deck are going to be the Tamers. The Tamers are what's probably decreasing in number the most and then going back up again. Pretty staple with this one is 3 copies of Cool Boy. Some people run 4, some people run 2. I do find that when you've got the 1 copy, you've started your combos, you've started accelerating. So I'm running 3 copies, so I'll make sure I see it. Frustratingly, the search of revealing the top 3, add a card with X antibody its traits, and the option X antibody itself. It does unfortunately mean that you bottom deck anything that is not an X antibody. So your Garurumons, your Gabumons, your 1 copy of ST2 Garurumon, you will be bottoming those. But it does mean that you can pick up your Where Garurumon X antibodies a little quicker, because that is the key component to this deck.
Cool Boy is definitely like he's integral more to Garurumon than I'd say he is for like Greymon. Like,
yes.
For me as a Greymon player, the only deck I would probably put him in now is maybe Black War Greymon X, but definitely Gaiomon.
Yeah.
That's the only kind of scenarios I can see it being useful now. But for Melga, still fantastic.
Exactly. And again, because you've got to be so conservative with your memory in this, to be able to play this, and at least your next Digivolution is costing 1 less, especially if you've happened to use I don't know how we're turning on the torch.
It's just the lighting. It's just the light. It will keep happening.
If you happen to then also save your memory with the BT5 Garurumon, and if you've got 1 spare, a mental training, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You're getting back really. Cool Boy is definitely more integral to Garurumon than anything else. The final Tamer is just 1 copy of Davis. Davis is just a one-off. You don't want more memory tamers because they are expensive and it's difficult to be able to afford those in a play. It's blue. That allows you to reveal top 3 and add a blue. So ripped any time that we look at the new purple stuff. For the time being, 1 Davis is fine. It's not integral to the play. If you like, more people are even throwing in 1 or 2 copies of Hammer Spark just to see, I just need an extender to get that one more
and
to be able to make that
in
play.
that same vein of X antibody, very cheeky insecurity as well.
Exactly that. Very soon, the Davis will be getting dropped, as we mentioned before, for the BT14 mats, which is only a 3 cost, and it combos nicely with EX1 Garurumons. It's also an inserter for your tribe itself, which means that you do get yourself options to pick up your non-blue cards. So Davis has been good for us, but very soon he's going to be going. You can, if you wanted to, swing to using the purple mat that we got in the same deck. The reason I'm not opting for it is because there isn't as much trash in this deck as we would like. I'll be using this one for the EX5 base deck when that lasts for only a month. But for the time being, it's Davis for the next few weeks. And with that is a 50-card deck profile.
Brilliant. All right. Well, I think we'd be amiss if we didn't do a test hand scenario. So let's. Are you feeling up to it? Are you feeling like a little?
I think this is exactly when it's going to brick. So let's get ourselves a good old shuffle on these ones. Brilliant stuff. So we've got to go somewhere into your Gabumon, get yourself a draw. Again, play yourself a Cool Boy. Got the top 3. You get to add an X antibody trait and name. So we get that one and that one. Bottom the other Garurumon. Building up our hand quite nicely. Passing for 2, so your opponents didn't Digivolve and then played 4 cost. It's got to be motion activated. It must be. Draw for Digivolve.
How many times does the torch go off during this whole process? Just let us know in the comments below.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, so now we get to go Gabumon into Gabumon X for free. The draw for Digivolve. You can then Gabumon to look at the top 3 to get yourself a Garurumon or Omnimon in A, so you've got 2 options, and the X antibody card. So we're going to get the promo and the X antibody. Go there. There's another 2 cards in our hand. You then get to trigger the Cool Boy as well to get yourself 1 and draw 1. And I believe at this point we've actually got all pieces we need. So now you can go the Gobumon into Garurumon X, which only really cost you 1 overall. Get yourself another draw. Cool boy, we've already seen you, we are done. Get to go Garurumon X for free. Get yourself another draw. We were fortunate enough as well to be able to see the Garurumon promo, which puts us to 0. Go there. Cool. Now we've got a big hand, which is what we're looking for, because that promo only triggers when you've got 8. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 10 in hand. So we're doing very well on this one. At this point, you will likely have the most stack. So you'll have jamming, so you get to swing, effect to unsuspend. We can then go ahead and pop one of our X antibodies beneath the stack. And you can then go for another swing, trigger your X antibody to Digivolve into an X antibody Digimon, to go into Garurumon X antibody, draw for the Digivolve. Its ability to unsuspend and bounce to level 4 or lower to give yourself some removal. But now you do meet the qualifications for the Garurumon promo to gain additional secure attack +1. So we check for 1. This new attack still going through is checking for 2, for a total of 3. You then get to do that one more time afterwards to check for a total of 5. What you can do now is that we're at 0. If you've got a play to do afterwards, you can then go ahead and what we've got, you can play another Cool Boy to pass return. You could play, we've got a Mental Training if you want to do a search and get yourself a cheap Digivolution later. Or you could also midway through go trigger again, because X antibody is not once per turn. Digivolve for the 4, unsuspend. You're giving yourself blocker, and you do get rid of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level back to their hand as well, while you're still swinging for those last 2 checks. So that is my turn 2, wiped out 5 security. And you've got a blocker at 12, 13k. That's not bad. That's not bad good. At all. That's and there you go. That's Garurumon, and that's why I got hit.
Yeah, that is it. I think that's as full an explanation as you could ever get, and it's going to be even scarier for the next couple of months until we get to the March ban list. But thank you, Alex, for that deck profile, and please let us know in the comments if there's anything that you liked in particular about Alex's build, or is there anything you want to maybe say you prefer to play over what Alex is playing. Just let us know in the comments.
You can take it out, it's fine.
Also, there'll be a link down in the description to our deck profile playlist, as well as our match playlist. And Melga, I'm sure, will be having a match in the near future, going into the said match playlist down there. But until then, or until the next time that you guys tune in, keep it digital.